Guys, deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for watching and tuning back in and all of them things. And if you're new, hit the like, subscribe button because you're rocking with the best. But moving on. Now, it's international break and I've been a bit bored, so I've sat down and I've looked at our Arsenal squad, or I thought at the top of my head of players that this season, come next May 19, I need to have seen certain things to, for me personally, to see that you can continue with this club. Obviously, I'm not the manager and all of these sort of things, so my opinion is irrelevant. But if nothing more, yeah, man, let's just talk. So, firstly, I say Xhaka. I love Xhaka, to be honest with you. Does that mean I'm going to support him for the dumb stuff he does? Of course not. I'm going to praise him and critique him fairly. I do think he's got some use. He can dictate tempo, he can pass a ball, he can do several things. The problem is, that's not all there is to being a midfielder. I like that he's very comfortable in possession and stuff, but many times, very nonchalant, especially when there's people behind him. He's got no awareness, he's very slow on the turn. Tracking back is never going to be his strong strengths. He's never going to be a competent defender. I'm not asking you to be good defensively. I mean, you look at Kroos and Modric's good defensively, but Kroos, you can see frailties, as you see it for Germany when he was there. But what I would like to see is an effort. Same way, not to praise Kroos because he's annoyed me now with the Mosel comments, but you see a willingness to track back and learn these things. Do I think Xhaka is I don't think Xhaka's aimlessly caught up the field 24/7. He's caught up there with all the other midfielders, but at times he does try to track back. I'm seeing an improvement in that regard. You make a couple tackles that are not spoken about. Even when Czech messed up against Cardiff or whatever the other day, you put them off. The problem is you don't do that consistently enough. The problem is with 10 games, if I was to, as much as I like you, Xhaka, if I say 10 games from now till whenever 10 games is up, people, do I know what sort of level I'm going to get from you? I'd be lying to you guys if I said no. If I said yes, sorry. Because I know he would probably be one of the players with the most touches, and he'd probably find some players when he shows his excellent passing range. But what I mean by that is you might let us down defensively. If you look at Watford away, that's the one in my head. Last season you had I think you had a strong end to the season. You had good games against United. You played well against Milan. You've had some good games. The time when we beat Spurs, you've had some good games. Liverpool game at home, you've had some good games. The problem is consistency, and I'm not seeing an improvement that I'd like to see in a defensive regards or again, if you're trying, I'm a fan. I don't see what you're doing on the training field. So forgive me, generally speaking, for all these players, but I don't see any willingness to improve defensively. I don't see learning from mistakes. And with it being 2 years now, you've been at this club in your third year, then it might be, obviously you won't be sold after the third year because you signed a new deal and things like that. But my patience would be thin. Mustafi, by the same logic, when he signed, I was gassed for Mustafi. I felt he was rough around edges, but he was composing, he was competent. You obviously thought he was of a level to be a suitable partner to Koscielny, which we didn't have. And again, he's played well in spells, if we keep it 100, but too often than not, it's comical. You've seen what Hazard's done to him. You see the errors against United at home. Koscielny did that as well, to be fair. You're seeing all of these things, and you're meant to be 26 years of age. You're very vocal. I felt you played well against PSG in your first season, but you're not again, like Xhaka, 10 games, I don't know what I'm getting from you. You look at our defenders, what centre-half is actually 30? And we should be looking at Mustafi. The real talk is Mustafi should be our best centre-half. If you look at his age, his prime, his pedigree in regards to winning the World Cup, he should be our best centre-half. But is he? I don't know. You're moving half-hearted. He started well this season, if I can say that, so I'll allow you, but you're one that I'm watching, innit? Kohler. I like Kohler. I mean, but you've got to show the form that got you into Bundesliga's player of the team of the season. Sorry, you're good going forward. For me, you're very good going forward. Defensively, you're not bad, but you're a bit shaky. Give away dumb fouls. You're a bit heavy-handed with your feet, if that makes sense. In fact, you like to push in, just concede silly fouls, in my opinion. So if you can improve in that, then we're cool. We need a left back because Monreal, by the same logic, Monreal's playing very well, but because of his age, I'll be watching Monreal too. Wasn't planning on including him, but yeah. I need you to stay fit. Again, clearly there was some sort of underlying injury when you signed for the club, and I'm not a medical don, so I don't know. But I'd like to see you stay fit and put in some consistencies because you should be taking over from Monreal. There's a prospect of us needing 2 left backs because if both of you are out, who fills in there? Do you see what I'm saying? So there's him. I'd say Welbs as well. He's probably leaving the club and he's going to be a bit part player, so it's difficult, but and I know Welbs gives you decent stuff in the side, defensively, link up, he gives you stuff. He's just never going to be clinical. I need to see a bit more from Welbs to show that you need a new deal or you want a new deal. For me, it's over. For me, I probably wouldn't hand Welbs a new deal. I'd want to keep him and stuff, but deals normally come with wage rises and things. And do I think he showed the form and stuff like that since he's been at Arsenal? I don't think so. He showed in patches. We'll always love him for the goal against Leicester at the Emirates, the 2 against United, and them things there. But it just hasn't been shown enough in it. And at his age, might in January have to bite the bullet, or we should have bit the bullet now. But he's decent. Mkhitaryan. Now, for me, when he signed, I was a bit shaky, and then he sold me on the Everton game, and I think he's a good player. I like Mkhitaryan. It annoys me when people say I don't like him. He can play in a couple of midfield roles, so he can be used. The problem now is for me is that if you ask me for 5 games, which I've seen that Mkhitaryan's been great, or 10 similar to the others, I can't tell you. And I do think he gets away with some stinkers. Yeah, against Chelsea he got an assist or a goal or something, but he was poor. Milan, you was on dirt. I want to see that consistently. And you're always talking about how you left United, you're playing for a team that plays to your strengths, that's not defensive, and all of these things. I want to see it. I must admit, you're playing more than I thought you would so far under Emery as well. I like Mkhitaryan, but you signed for the club at prime ages, you signed for the club on big wages, you're always talking. So again, like the others, I need to see it. Because 10 games, I don't know what I'm getting. Sometimes I feel Mkhitaryan's on fire, then he's underwhelming. He's one of them, when he plays poorly, he plays poorly. Like if I remember Spurs away last year, because I was there at Wembley. Credit to the boys at Pep Talk for bringing me on that. We know it's probably over, but finally I'd say Xhaka as well. He's clearly not good enough to be #1. I like Xhaka. I think he's a model professional. If he shows he's competent enough, I don't see why he couldn't be second choice for us next season. But he's probably the end of his Arsenal career, and every now and again we see the glaring decline that he's going through. So I'm probably reaching with that one, but probably him as well. To a degree, it's completely different, but you'd probably say Callum Chambers, because you'd like to think you need a good season of sorts at Fulham and you need to really convince in pre-season or it's over. I'd say Joe Willock as well for different reasons. There's a chance of Willock going out on loan, but there's a lot of midfielders. I even think we could go for another one. And he's playing well for the under-23s, but he probably needs to step up a tiny bit. Could get onto Bramwell, but it's not worth it, man. So yeah, man, people, let me get out your hair. Deluded, get in the comments, subscribe and do the rest. Thank you very much for watching and tuning in. Out.